Hello, boys. It is me, boys. I have another extremely expensive, stupid, delusional, hero-edited, pointless, don't watch this video, absolutely garbage, Sorceress build. So, this is going to be another bow Sorceress variant. So a while ago I made quite a while ago, when I did my Bow of Sorc week, I made a lightning Sorceress with Wisp projectors. So with two of these, we get 20% chance to cast 16 lightning on striking. So I thought, how much can we utilize that efficiently? And obviously to proc it, we need consistent pierce, right? To hit a lot of mobs at once, to really get as much lightning as possible. So for this, we're using our Mist bow. Okay, so Mist, we need a 5 socket, so that takes out the Great Bow. So we're using Mist, okay, and we're going to be proccing these. We're doing extra single target lightning damage from Dream, because that just complements well, and we'll just get into stat skills and gear. Please excuse me, my throat's been terrible lately, but I'm recovering fine. So, strength, we have only a base 65, nothing crazy, alright? Dexterity, we have a little bit higher because we do need it for the bow. You can change around different bases to save you stat requirements. I believe I can't remember the specific stat, but there is Diamond Bow as an option. Where do I have it here? No, we do not. But there's Diamond Bow, which has higher requirements for certain stats, and Ward Bow is the same increased attack speed base with similar average damage, but we have lower stats. So I went for that so I could save more for life and energy, okay? So Vitality, I've got 90. I like to keep a bit of excess in here while pumping most of it into energy, because we are an energy shield variant, okay? And that is also why I don't care about maximizing my res here too much, alright? So, over to the skills. They're a little bit crazy because we're maximizing this synergy for lightning, alright? So we're not putting points into lightning, we're putting points into the following. So Charge Bolt, Nova, and Chain Lightning. This build is very tough in terms of skill points, so I'll show you what I got. You might change this a bit differently yourself. It's difficult to maximize because there's a lot of synergies to lightning, right? And don't forget about Mastery, which is another 20. So, Charge Bolt to 20, 1 point static, 20 into Nova, 20 into Chain Lightning, 20 into Lightning Mastery, and then here we've got 19 Telekinesis, 1 Teleport, 4 into Energy Shield. Whatever, I can take one out and put it in there. Okay, that's up to you, sure. Now, fire skills, I have 1 down into Enchant to give me attack rating. This is up to you. I hate switching out for Demon Limb, it is cringe. A lot of people mention it, I've mentioned it in the past, but in reality, the only people that I see use Demon Limb on a somewhat regular basis is if they're doing fucking Ubers, okay? So if someone tells you like, oh yeah, just chuck a Demon Limb on, yeah, I never see it. Tell me someone who uses Demon Limb regularly and they replace a skiller in the inventory or just keep it always in the cube. I never see it, okay? So this is why I do this. Enchant here, okay? Alternatively, you could have like a Lava Gout Gauntlets and switch that out and do that. I don't care, but this just makes it all in one. I don't need to switch and pre-buff, okay? Nothing into cold skills, we do not care about that. Now, let's get into the gear, and then I'll show the mercenary, okay? So this gets a little bit messy too. So, as I said, we've got Mist in a Ward Bow. Concentration, good physical damage, but what we also have is +3 all skills. So that's buffing our +3 to Lightning Mastery, which is in turn buffing our Dream, okay, which is our single target damage, and then also the Lightning, which is result from our Wisp projectors, okay? So 20% chance to cast 16 Lightning, fully synergized. And we can show you a little bit later how much damage that actually does, okay? But I'll finish the gear first. I don't want to zip back and forth. Now, Dream, we've got this here for the single target. When lightning does proc on an enemy, it procs at the point of contact, and it goes in a straight line. It's great once we group up mobs into one area, but yeah, we lack a bit of single target initially before we proc that lightning, so this really complements the build and makes it a bit more well-rounded in higher player counts. The amulet, we have a 220 in here to get cast rate, paired with the Arachnid Mesh, so we're over 37, FCR, and we have this plate is a little bit different. So we have enough attack speed here with attack rating jewels, and we have 2 facets. So that is enough with our Fanaticism Faith Bow to give us max frames to shoot from, okay? So our gloves, we've got increased attack speed craft gloves. Dual leech would be ideal, but mainly we just want that knockback, right? Which is always on there. So anything else is nice. Resistances is nice, but that's kind of what you'd want, okay? So a good bit of lifesteal, but then just attack speed, boys, okay? Sanders boots, I opted for these because I wanted a little bit more attack rating, just because I felt like I needed it, and I didn't really need anything else, and that's up to you. It's an easy thing to kind of switch around. You don't see many people use Sanders for obvious reason, and yeah, I just had the spot to do that. Now, on Switch, I have my lidless wall, because I don't want to put points in to get a Monarch. I don't care about that Spirit Shield. So, I'll go for the lidless, I'll save the bunch of stat points into strength, and I'll just pair that with my CTA instead, okay? Down here, we've got a Hellfire Torch, we've got a Nihilus. I've opted for attack rating and lightning damage for my single target, because there's predominantly a single target build, okay? And then our lightning skillers, which you could probably see already with my Sunder Charm. My Mercenary, as I shown, is Faith. So you can build this with an Infinity Mercenary if you want to. I felt from playing it that I actually didn't need the damage from the Infinity, and I'd rather get higher attack speed frames and cap that out with the Faith Mercenary. What we also have access to with this is Inner Sight, which helps landing our hits and our pierce, which is great. And we also have Freezing Arrow for when we teleport around. It's going to add us a bit more crowd control, keeping us at bay. Fortitude and Andariels, you can kind of move these around as you need, particularly with you using the Act 1 Rogue on a Sorceress. You can teleport a lot very consistently and keep that rogue at bay, so you don't need to worry about her holding her own and feel like she needs all that leech, okay? So here is the attack speed that we're going to be shooting from. Pretty fast. If we take off the Mercenary's Faith Bow, it is slightly slower, but not necessary. If you want to build it with Infinity, you boys can, okay? But I just wanted to show that quickly before we hop in. So let's keep this on Players 3, which I think it is. Players 3? Yeah, we'll keep it there, sure. Alright, I'm going to go buff up, and we'll go to... I don't know, should we go Outer Cloister, boys? We'll do that, okay? Sweet, so we can switch. We'll do this, we'll do Enchant here, and then we'll do Energy Shield, which is sitting at 76 after Battle Orders, Battle Command. Single target is 27k. Pretty good, boys. If I take off my torch, I drop gear? No, okay. So I want to show you skills really quick. So Lightning here, I have access to at only base 1 point. It's level 19, right? Now, if I take off my Hellfire Torch, you can see it's down to level 16. This shows you exactly what the chance to cast actually functions as on the Wisp ring, okay? So we have 20% chance to cast lightning. This shows all the synergies in game. We have everything maxed out. When we get one lightning proc, we're doing over 6,000 damage, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go in. Players 3 in the pits. Ooh, don't know. I'd say that. There you can see some of the lightning procs. It is difficult to really maximize the damage of the lightning procs itself, because they proc where they actually cast on the enemy. They don't proc from they don't cast from you, which makes it quite difficult. So you're already dealing damage against enemies from like 1 or 2 hits before it procs. So there's less enemies there to be hit afterwards, right, from the lightning. But also, the further it is away from you, the harder it is to get enemies in a straight line and to maximize the damage from it. I did test this build with a Breezer, which I thought was kind of fun. A little bit unnecessary, though, I would say. The Mist I would put as probably the winner with that, with 100% Pierce, right? Even though they both have it. You've got +3 skills, you also have freeze target, and just a good chunk of all-res and vitality on there, which is very nice. Particularly for a bow, when we usually have access to stats like that on shield options. Again, this is players 3, if you're wondering, boys. So we just have a Sunder, and we only have -10 to enemy lightning resistance. We don't really have too much. We'll finish off this pits and we'll go somewhere else. I can use static if I need. That's totally fine. There we go, boys. So, plays 3 pits. Not too bad. I'm gonna get rid of my amp damage, we'll get some new arrows, and then we'll continue elsewhere. Where should we go? I do kinda like... let's go Arcane. Pretty good. There's no lightning resistant mobs there, if I remember, apart from the spires, or the little sentries, whatever they're called. So, it might be a good place to show. Enchant up. Last time I made a Wisp bow build, I showcased a little bit here in Arcane, because it's so narrow in close quarters, it's easier to have enemies grouped to maximize your damage from the lightning itself. There we go. Yes, you can get this to function with something like War Strikes. You can definitely do it with Zeal. It's not as consistent and as safe. I definitely feel like this would be the better way to try and get those 2 rings and that proc working itself, because you have the ability to teleport around and kite and really keep yourself at maximum range while maintaining 100% Pierce. That's really the focus, to be honest. War Strikes, the knives are good, but they don't have as much range as other stuff. They have shorter range than like a throwing spear, to example. So yeah, I think this definitely wins a little bit more. War Strikes, you can obviously, you know, refer directly to my Throw Sorceress and how that functions quite well with Dual Dreams, but then at that point, if you're using Dual Dreams, there's no point in maximizing synergy with 2 Wisps, to be honest. Everything's going to die by pulse by even the time, even proc, like several lightnings. So it depends on what your theme is, you know, on what line you want to build towards. Because then you reach this slippery slope of between off-meta and meta, you know? Like, how many, you know, like, what? You need to draw a line in the sand somewhere when it comes to your build, right? So, for me, that line was Infinity and 1 Dream. And I kind of like how that works. Nice. There you go. Good little showcase there. I'm going to keep that on P3, and let's go finish off one more spot. Where do you think we should go? Mephisto? What's his lightning res like? Is that a good option, or is that going to be a bad option, boys?
Welcome.
I'll try Mephisto, because I'm just curious now. Here we are. So on Switch, my cast rate is 60. I know it's 3% short for hitting the next breakpoint, but I can't really do much. Not without sacrificing, you know, significant pieces of my build. Hey, there we go, not bad. Alright, let's see. Static down to half. Not the best. Probably should do with Infinity if we're doing areas like this. Or particularly enemies with larger life pools that have heavy lightning resistance. Because again, we only have -10, which is coming from here, from the plate. But you can still get things done. Yeah. There we go, boys. I quite like this one. I've always had my eye on dual wisps. I always thought it was such an awesome thing to try and utilize, to proc. Yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are with those. If you want to see me maybe find a different option for those rings, or a different type of build. Or if you want to see a Zeal, or throw Sorceress, I can try that out and we can compare them and see. But, you know, as always, boys, with the builds and shit that I make, you know, feel free to put your own spin on it. That's the whole idea, you know, of making your own builds and having fun and just not complying to, you know, what other builds and plans says. You know, like, you come up with your own theme on what you like, what you think is fun, and you build around that and maximize your idea. Your idea. Not necessarily what is the best, but, you know, what you like. So, I hope you like this one, boys. I'll see you around.